just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Okay, Steve, she's got 422 million followers on Instagram, and indeed, she's an actress.
All right, guys, in this clip, Megyn Kelly completely shuts down Selena Gomez on her own show. Megyn Kelly, along with guest Steve Bannon, dives into a heated discussion about Selena Gomez's recent publicity stunt, that emotional video she posted on Instagram. Megyn Kelly doesn't hold back, delivering a blunt critique that really puts Selena in the spotlight. Let's hear what Megyn Kelly has to say as she completely shuts down Selena Gomez on her own show.
I mean, the good news is that people have common sense, because this is a revolution of common sense. That's why this movement, this progressive nationalist movement, is expanding every day, because folks, African Americans, Hispanic families, and working class men and women understand that this is to protect them. And they understand that all the performative, like how phony is that? And they can see through it. And they understand how this has destroyed their communities, and they're not going to tolerate it anymore. And they're certainly not going to be backed off by her or by Martha Raddatz. Look at Martha Raddatz's behavior with Tom Homan. I mean, you understand now why the mainstream media is virtually powerless because of her hectoring of Tom Homan, particularly hectoring. Remember about the military flights. So you're telling me every day military, they weren't concerned when they were having flights bringing folks in here and taking them deep into the country, like up at the Westchester Airport. So you then could spread out the illegal aliens into New England, right, and upstate New York. So this just shows you the mainstream media. This is why they're so powerless today, and I don't think we should be, even paying much attention to them. We just got to report more information, get more facts out there, more stories out there, and just let the camera roll and see the heroes like Tom Homan, see the heroes of the military that have been sent to the southern border, see the heroes, in every aspect of what we're trying to do to deconstruct the administrative state and take on the deep state. Just cut the cameras on and watch the Senate hearings last week, where they had no punchback on any of the deep policy stuff that Senator Rubio brought up, or that Pete Hegseth talked about a revolution in military affairs, and you had these Harridans, all they're doing is going after his personal foibles, every second. They didn't even get to the heart of the matter. And now Pete Hegseth is Secretary of Defense and has to, get on with it and start to execute on this. So
yeah, I got to say, I agree with what Steve Bannon is saying on Megyn Kelly's show. For the longest time, it felt like there was so much miscommunication between the people in power and the American public. It seemed like the American people were being kept in the dark and not getting the full truth about what was really going on. But now, with this new administration, it feels like there's finally a chance to see real changes, new rules and laws being implemented with full transparency. That's something I can appreciate about this system. Of course, not everyone agrees with what's being done. Just look at Selena Gomez's reaction. But honestly, Steve seems pretty spot on. I'm curious to see what else he has to say on Megyn Kelly's show.
I think our audiences grow every day, and they grow with the engagement, and to know that they blew her up after that phony, C-level actress performance is to me encouraging. That's really encouraging, because so should the American people in their decency. Remember, American people have tremendous common sense, tremendous grit, but they also have tremendous decency. It's the most decent group of people in world history, the most empathetic. They've have freed more people, given their lives, freeing more people, given money everywhere. The American people are very decent, and they understand what's going on here, and they fully back President Trump in this regard to clean this mess up.
Yeah, she didn't look at the polls, which have between 55 and 60% of all of America completely on board with deporting all illegals, including the Democrats. The Democrats are now majority in favor of deporting all illegals, never mind the ones who have committed crimes, which is where Homan's starting, but as you point out, not where he's going to end. Homan with Martha Raddatz discussed some of this. Take a listen to SOT 19.
How can you possibly afford to deport all of those people?
Well, I'll leave it up to Congress. I think Congress, the president has a mandate. This was the number one issue that people voted on. I think Congress has a mandate to give us money we need. What price do you put on national security?
More detention centers?
What price do you put on What price you put on all these young ladies have been raped and murdered and burned alive? What price you put on that? What price you put on Lincoln Riley's life?
Steve, what's interesting about Homan, and to some extent now too, J.D. Vance and the other people speaking for the administration is, to me, it seems like they're finally getting it. It's so joyful for somebody like me to sit here and watch somebody who actually knows the facts and is not afraid to argue what's real, give it right back to these Sunday news anchors, and they don't care if the news anchors like them.
I gotta hand it to Megyn Kelly. She really goes off, not just on Selena Gomez, but on the entire system. She makes a solid point when she says that the majority of people support deporting illegal immigrants, especially those with criminal backgrounds. Honestly, I think she's right. A lot of news stations are pushing this narrative that what Trump and Homan are doing is completely wrong and unlawful, but let's be real. That's just nonsense if you ask me. Anyway, let's see what else Megyn Kelly has to say.
They're not looking to go to cocktail parties in Georgetown. I thought JD, because JD's a real gentleman. But finally, it was like the frustration. Margaret, I don't care. That said, CBS has so lost its way. ABC has so lost its way. It's shocking. You know, Margaret Brennan's just not at the level that you can be to run these Sunday shows. And Martha Raddatz right there. It's just hectoring. And you saw last night they got the two new anchors at CBS during the championship game. I think it was the AFC playoffs. I said, man, if that's O'Donnell was bad enough, is this an upgrade? This is another disaster. These guys, and this is why remember the audience is only 4.5 million. It's not that big an audience anymore. You were doing that at Fox, and you're bigger on your podcast, when you count everything. So it shows you that the mainstream media, they're going to have nothing but deportation porn, right, from here on in, because this is where they're going. But I think the American people have had a belly full of it, and they understand something has to be done. And I love the way that in a very professional, even-handed way that people like Homan and JD are kind of the tip of the spear. But I think you're going to see this across the board with everybody. I think you're going to see Secretary Rubio and Pete Hegseth, and across the board Pam Bondi. We're not going to cow to them. They're not looking to go to cocktail parties in Georgetown. They're there to save this country and return it to her greatness under President Trump's leadership. And I think that's what you're seeing.
It's so amazing. We've never seen this before, where they don't give 1 inch. They don't need to be liked. They don't need the invitation to the jury. They'll have their own parties. They don't need to go to these. And you just never see it. My entire history in the media, they go on these Sunday shows, they do a little ass kissing, and then they kind of pivot off to make their final point as like their parting shot of like, well, but we kind of believe this, after they totally cede the main points the anchor is raising in part one of his or her argument. So it's great to see somebody just fight and like completely disavow the premise of the question.
So there you have it. Megyn Kelly completely shuts down Selena Gomez on her own show and doesn't hold back. Selena Gomez has a massive following and a lot of influence, so it's pretty clear what she's trying to achieve here. This only amplifies the situation and could lead to even more people protesting. What do you all think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Take care.